On today's show, we're taking a look at some hypothetical trades from Bleacher Report that perhaps Golden State could explore in the 2023 offseason. But before we get into it, we're in a sub battle right now with our arch rival, Los Angeles Lakers, our Lakers Report channel here on Chat Sports. We're just behind them right now, trying to get to 50,000 subscribers. So go down and subscribe to the channel right now. Help us get to 50,000 subscribers as we take a look at our first trade idea here. Could the Warriors look to trade for Toronto Raptors star OG Anunoby? Of course, Golden State was linked to him at the trade deadline. I thought for sure he was going to get traded. Maybe not to Golden State, but maybe a team like New York or some other teams that were in on him. But Toronto ended up keeping him. However, that does not mean they're not going to re-explore the idea of trading him this offseason. So let's take a look at this first idea, again from Bleacher Report. Warriors receive OG Anunoby and Chris Boucher. Raptors receive Jordan Poole, Patrick Baldwin Jr., Moses Moody, and a future first-round pick. That is a lot to give up for Anunoby. Taking a look at this trade idea. Prying OG Anunoby and Chris Boucher away from the Raptors feels like a can't-miss kind of haul. Anunoby is one of the league's best defenders, and his offensive game is constantly evolving. Boucher, a one-time Warrior, can protect the paint and splash shots from the perimeter. Both would bulk up Golden State's defense without screwing up any of the offensive space. This is an interesting idea. Trading for Anunoby. I actually like the idea of trading for Anunoby, but you're giving up a haul and a half to make that happen. Now, taking a look at his numbers from the past 4 years, 47 games played this season, 16.6 points per game, 5.5 rebounds per game. The year prior, very similar numbers, 48 games played, so he has missed some time the last couple of seasons, 17.1 points per game. So he's been a good player throughout his career, and you definitely need more defense on this roster. He is a good defensive player, 2 steals per game this season. It's been a problem this year for the Warriors. They have not had enough defenders on the floor. Trading for Anunoby would certainly fix some of those issues. Now, would you trade for OG Anunoby? Type T for trade or type P for pass down in the comment section. Go down and chime in. It is the pinned comment on today's video. So when that break comes, go down and sound off. Do you want to trade for Toronto Raptors star OG Anunoby this offseason? Taking a look at the second trade idea. Could the Warriors make a trade with the Orlando Magic? The Magic, they might look to sell some of their pieces this summer. We'll explore an idea here in a second, but first, it is playoff season in Golden State, so go and get a Warriors playoff shirt right now. Chatsports.com/Dubs playoffs. A lot of cool gear to choose from, but the shirt's probably my favorite. You can go get the shirt. Chatsports.com/Dubs playoffs. That link is in the comments and the description of today's video. Taking a look at this trade idea that would send Jordan Poole, and I don't like the idea of trading Jordan Poole. Both trade ideas have had Jordan Poole out of Golden State. Magic get Jordan Poole. Warriors receive Gary Harris, Cole Anthony, and a first-round pick. Not a fan of this trade. I don't like giving up the best player in any deal. I just don't. This is a Warriors team that will still look to contend next year. Trading Jordan Poole, who put up over 20 points per game this season, just does not make that much sense. 4.5 assists per game. I get it. The field goal percentage, you want that to be a little bit higher. You want the three-point percentage to be a little bit higher. But Jordan Poole is the future of this basketball team. I expect him to be starring on this basketball team in the post-Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green era. I think he is going to be a piece that remains a piece for a long time. And I want Jordan Poole to remain on this Warriors team for years to come. Would you trade away Jordan Poole? Type Y for yes or type in for no down in the comment section. Now, I will say this. If the Warriors put him up on the trade market, on the trade block, he would certainly get a lot of interest. Here's what Bleacher Report said on the trade. This type of trade is tricky since the Warriors are the win now team in this trade, and they're giving up the best player. It still might work, though, for the fit and flexibility offered by this package. Now, this deal makes sense for Orlando. I don't know how you can argue this deal makes sense for Golden State. I just don't. Now, the Magic would, I think you would do this trade for the Magic. Cole Anthony, a decent player, but he's nothing crazy. Gary Harris, good player, but again, nothing crazy. And then a first-round pick that you'd be getting, or giving up in this case if you're the Magic. And then you pair Jordan Poole with Paolo Banchero, and that can be your star tandem for years to come. So the Magic, I'm making this trade 10 times out of 10. Golden State, this trade makes 0 sense for the Warriors. Let's go to the third trade, though, from Bleacher Report. Could the Warriors make a giant trade with the Brooklyn Nets? This is wild and would be the blockbuster of the summer if this went down. Warriors receive Mikal Bridges and Dorian Finney-Smith. Of course, the Nets acquired both of those guys at the deadline. Mikal from Phoenix, Dorian Finney-Smith from Dallas. Nets receive Jordan Poole, Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, Patrick Ball Jr., future first-round pick. That's just a lot to give up, man. And I like Mikal Bridges a lot, but that's a lot to give up. Here's what Bleacher Report said on the trade. This would ditch the idea of operating on two different timelines and be a total commitment to giving Curry his best shot at adding his to his jewelry collection. The Warriors won't have another talent like him pass through the organization for a long time or ever. So doing everything they can to maximize his tenure feels like the smartest move. Look, Mikal's a great player, but giving up Poole, giving up Kuminga, giving up other players as well for Mikal and Dorian Finney-Smith, I just don't know if I would do it. Now, it's intriguing, yes, because Mikal Bridges is a great player. I mean, the numbers he put up this season, and the numbers went up big time after he got moved to Brooklyn. 20.1 points per game, 4.4 rebounds per game, 46.8% from the field, 38.2% from three, and he's still young. But do you want to lose that much youth is the question that the Warriors have to ask. Giving up Poole, giving up Kuminga, giving up some other players like Patrick Baldwin in that trade as well. I just don't know if I would do it. I will say this. They do make an interesting point in terms of maximizing Steph Curry's tenure because Mikal Bridges, probably a better player than Poole. Not that much better in terms of that much being the trade, but he's a great player. And Dorian Finney-Smith is a great defender, so you'd fix some of those defensive issues if you made this trade. Would you do this trade? Type 1 for yes or type 0 for no down in the comment section. This is a tough call for me. I'm probably saying no. But if you can tweak this trade a little bit, I'd be very intrigued. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. I probably would not do this trade. I don't think I'd give up that much. But I do know the Nets really value Mikal Bridges. They almost flipped him again at the deadline, offering, I think a team offered 3 or 4 first-round picks. So they feel like that's the value for Mikal Bridges, a couple first-round picks to get that done. Let's revisit some of these trade ideas. This is the OG Anunoby idea. I don't know if I would do this. But it is intriguing adding Anunoby. I definitely wouldn't do this trade idea. This was by far the worst trade idea, giving up Jordan Poole, getting Gary Harris, Cole Anthony to first. That's terrible. This one, if you tweak it slightly, I think I would do it. But you're giving up 4 players and a future first for Bridges and Dodo. That's just a lot. Again, tweak it a little bit, maybe get a pick in return. I'd be pretty interested in that trade. Mikal Bridges, I don't think the Nets would move him, but maybe they'll want to go into full rebuild mode. If they go into full rebuild mode, I don't know why they'd acquire Poole. So we'll see. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. We're going to have you covered throughout the playoffs. We're going to have you covered throughout the offseason as well with all these Warriors trade rumors. I'll tell you what, I think Golden State can win this first-round matchup against Sacramento. I think they probably will make this a 7-game series. But if they don't, there's going to be a lot of changes made to this roster in the offseason. It's going to be very interesting to see what Bob Myers does.